Yo, yo, yo. What's good, YouTube? What's good? Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to a special live for this evening. It was originally going to be the Friday night chop session with Stormybman, but we're putting the Friday night chop session to the side for a moment this evening. And for a special reason. The whole idea of this special live is to have a moment in time to take out for something important, something significant that I wanted to talk about. And as we approach this weekend where there's going to be a fight between Canelo Alvarez and Dimitri Bivol for the WBA light heavyweight title. I think they had the weigh-in this afternoon. And to be perfectly honest with you, Stormybman really don't give a damn about Canelo challenging Bivol this weekend. But there was something that happened over the last 48 hours that I wanted to kind of come in and give my take on and talk about these things a little bit, because sometimes, even though the masses may feel a certain kind of way, a single voice in the wilderness can reach the perfect tone and ear of someone significant. So this evening, people, Stormybman is doing a dedication stream to Kevin Samuels. Yeah. I salute this brother. And his family, may all condolences and prayers go out to his family. Kevin Samuels was a brother out here in the social media era where he spoke on relationships, primarily curtailed toward the black experience. Being a black man, that was his focal point. And though his message originally was sent out to specifically for the black man, it wasn't until he started engaging in conversation on what may be a serious situation that needs to be addressed and looked at closely within the black family. And that's the modern black woman. So, as you see, Stormy this evening has decided to put on his digs, right? And get in front of the camera for you guys. I can't do it like Mr. Samuels, okay? I just want to say that first and foremost. But this is being done with all due respect. Because if you look the part, it can help you to feel the part. But only you know within if you are the part. So I'm not here to ridicule. I'm not here to make fun or be disrespectful. Which is why, again, like I said, you see Stormy has got himself together this evening for this show. Because we need to raise the consciousness in the community. And as I've often said, when I produce my own content, I like to lead by example. I had a chance to listen to our brother, Drew Titan, LLC, in his podcast last night, the Painful Excellence podcast that he produces for adult content in the evenings. And I was so inspired that I said I couldn't go through this weekend speaking on the superficial, the insufficient, the inadequate, the unimportant, without coming out here doing my part. Because first and foremost, I'm a black man. I have a family. I have a child. I've been in successful and unsuccessful relationships. I've had my ups and downs, battles with the opposite sex. Being that I am also within the age and peer group of Mr. Samuels, I can totally relate to a lot of the context of the content he would put out, specifically geared toward the men, and the messages that he would try to convey to disinterested women. This is important, people, because the man's work was not yet complete. And now that he's no longer with us, we only have the content that he had produced up to this point left behind. And we don't know if that will be pulled off the air, it be made unavailable. So I advise whoever would be interested in seeing just what this man was about to take a moment and try to look into it and research further. Salute to Dodge J out there in that super chat. We appreciate your donation to the channel. He says, salute Stormy B. Dig in the suit. Dig the message, brother. Dig the message. This is the one thing that I want to say about being here this evening. And I don't want it to go over anyone's head. This is not in ridicule. This is with all due respect. You see, as news came about that we had lost this brother yesterday, one of the things that I noticed was a rejoicing and a marked celebration of hearing this tragic news. Foolishness. The very thing that this man spoke about and tried to show a mirror reflection of what core ignorance is all about. Core ignorance. That is at your very essence, the foundation of who you are. Oftentimes, Mr. Samuels would interview and give specific questions that he would ask each and every guest, particularly speaking with the women, because the questions were designed to be revealing. Okay? Not spreading your life out into the universe, but revealing your ethic, who you are at the core. That's important. Who you are at the core. He had a video called Average at Best that went viral. That particular video set him onward and upward, where his name and conversation rolled off the tongues of offended folk, awakened folk, complacent folk, and also various type of women. Various. But for the most part, those who took offense immediately began to look to challenge, how dare you? The worst part of that is hearing from so-called women who came from two-parent households, dad and mother, being raised as they would confess or profess properly, but not being given the keys toward becoming a vessel for the rest of their life, to be someone to be joined onto a man for marriage. Because we're now deep into several generations of, I don't need a man to help me raise my baby. That wasn't the way it was meant to be, people. But through a little bit of prodding, interference by the powers that be, the influences could not be denied. And some bought into this. And yet and still some of the men who were even at a greater disadvantage and weakened accepted this. You have to find your cause to fight for. I found mine, albeit in some later years, just like Mr. Samuels found his. But man, if he did not touch lives, which was the whole point. You can write a book. You can give a speech. You can teach a class. You can go to class. But this here thing that we do on these airwaves, this goes across the world. You know, a lot of people don't think about that. They only see as far as their neighbor. The same one that they war with, don't have respect for, will cuss and swear and fight and moan and be groaned with on a regular basis. There used to be an old saying, image is everything. And even as I'm on here this evening, there are comments in this chat currently. Some people speaking admirably, some people ridiculing. But I stated on more than one occasion, this was being conducted with respect. So even in that, where's mine? You see? None of you out there listening have seen me misrepresent. So why would you misspeak? Have I done that to you? I take offense. I set aside my regular show to have this conversation with my listening and viewing audience. For those who come in, those who disappear, those who may catch it late and on a replay. As I stated, the only way I know how to lead is by example. We've had men out here putting down this man, putting him down. Was he a perfect man? Absolutely not. None of us are. But what the hell are you doing? So busy worried about him, trying to put him down, instead of helping build a brother up. How many viewers and followers do you have on social media? Where's your representation for the progression of your brethren? Oh. No answer. As I stated, I just came across this man late 2021, early 2020. But the fact that somebody could stir up the consciousness of people who are dead, it means something. It means a lot. You can grab a rumor out here, say something ill about somebody you know, pass the word. It'll spread like wildfire throughout these airwaves. Did you hear what so-and-so said about so-and-so? So-and-so hating on you. So-and-so said this, that, and the third about you. When I was a small kid, Mom said, give a dog a bone and he'll carry it away. It happens. But what about that progressive thing? That message of advancing, breaking the cycle, entering a new frontier where you can explore the best of what you have to offer, you and yours. A hand up, no longer seeking handouts. Oh, but some of them don't want you to do that though. Where you going? What makes you think you so special? Who do you think you are? You think you better than me. Yeah. Culture, people. Culture. While you sit up and try to assimilate someone else that don't even look like you. Huh? Clothes hanging half off your ass. Water and soap ain't touched you since God knows when. Coming out of the house looking like anything and whatever. And walking to the corner store like that. Showing up in Walmart, because that's where y'all like to congregate. The worst of America can be found in Walmart. I wonder why. Must be something in the advertising. I'm telling you. But one person can come out and say something and say, hey, man, this is jacked up. Something wrong here. We need to tweak this. We need to turn this off this path. And those very ones that were saying, hey, where you going? Who you think you are? You think you better than me. Will bust you upside your head. Shoot you. Stop you. Because they've grown comfortable in ignorance. How can you be comfortable in ignorance? Ignorance, people. Not in the know. Having no idea of what is. Cognitive dissonance abound in a nation of people that are separated, though they are one people. The whole message in this is to wake TF up. Wake up. Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired of the stereotype? Aren't you tired of the misrepresentation? If you're not, cognitive dissonance. Do you have any dignity? There are people who will come at me for this show, this broadcast, thinking that I got it all wrong. But while you celebrate another foolish TikTok video, somebody twerking their behind, doing something stupid just for views, how about taking a closer look at yourself? Two terms came out of this man's broadcast that is becoming a part of culture, modern culture: high value and average at best. But when talking about high value, in order for something to have value to you, that means or says about where you place its significance to you. Having someone that'll be down for you, that'll take care of you, that you take care of them, that's high value within itself. Has nothing to do with a payday, income, salary. Now, I know that tons of conversations that he said and had with guests, the economics were always a part of that, a tremendous part of that. But it's okay. Because in this society that we live in, there's rich and poor. And even poorer still. There will always be someone in a better position of economic standing than you. And you will always be in a better standing than someone else. So keep your head on that proverbial swivel. Because that's how society is run, people. But the value is where you place things, as I said. Where do you place it? Now, this thing about average at best. Average at best. Where do you place yourself? Do you consider yourself average? What do you bring to light besides bullshit? A hustle? Or to be hustled? That's open for conjecture, huh? Think about it. How many of you don't even think about it? You take that last drink, take that last smoke, and you say, F the world, right? Tomorrow's a new day. What if I told you today that there is no tomorrow? There's only today. What are you going to do to turn it around? Change your thinking? Change your way of life? Change your underwear? What type of change would you make? Would you go from unconscious to conscious? Or would you give no care and prefer to be unconscious? All of these are things to think about. And a lot of it was a part of his conversations with people. But the message was lost. That's why you have ignorant folks celebrating. A voice in the wilderness. A voice in the wilderness. You know what that's like? You ever heard the saying, does when a tree fall in the forest make a sound? Just because you didn't hear it fall. You were unaware of it coming down. Wake the hell up. Here's a man that took a time out to not only identify problems that he had within his own life experience, but take to the airwaves to have discussions with other people that are relatable, to see if they can come to some type of epiphany, to resurrect the rulership that was within the man who's been broken. A man so broken that his women continue to break him further. So misguided and so uneducated, so unprepped, I should say, that their ignorance will allow them to think that they can get it done without you. Really? How is that possible? How in hell is that possible? Do you realize that so many children in this life experience currently are born out of sexual activity? Sexual activity. Not love. Because nowadays, most are just getting their freak on, huh? And getting your freak on has existed long before you arrived on the scene. But there's a thing called responsibility. And when do you become responsible enough to understand that if I'm going to get my freak on, at least I better be prepared to protect myself and protect the person I'm freaking. And when do I acknowledge that I'm not in a position where I want to be a parent? Huh? Salute to Mr. Pac-Man 216 in that Cash App. He says, for the Godfather, R.I.P. We appreciate you, Mr. Pac-Man 216. Thank you for your Cash App, brother. Thank you so much. I know you dropped that a few minutes ago, but in the midst of my dialogue here. Sometimes things just have to be said, people. Sometimes. We do this for a reason. We do this for a reason. As I stated earlier, came across Mr. Samuel's content and material late last year, early this year. And as I began to watch, some I found very entertaining. Some I found offensive. Not he, but the conversations were like the ignorance. And you know what was really interesting is the disrespect for his platform. He would invite people on and he'd say, let's have a conversation. But then they get rude and get abrasive, and as he would state oftentimes, hey, you can't, this is my show, I'm conducting matters, don't overtalk me. People feel like they have to respect nada. Well, life has a way of teaching you lessons. And if you never got kicked in your pants growing up in the environment that you grew up in, you will be kicked in the pants by life at some point. There's a such thing called discipline, reservation. Hold fast. Most don't know that. Most aren't even concerned. Yeah. Will Smith walking up on a stage, slapping Chris Rock, the host of the Oscars. How about the man that crashed the stage when Dave Chappelle was doing his act the other night? People just acting out. Here in Chicago, where I am, they're carjacking people left and right. They're just committing crimes. And most of these folk that are creating this chaos, not Will, not the man that tried to assault Dave Chappelle, but most of these that are committing the crimes of which I speak They're young people. Where were their dads? Their fathers? The very one who could have put his foot in their ass, like I said a moment ago, when they were younger, to teach them no. Pack it in reserve, bud, because I told you so. Are these the very same ones that are being raised by the women who didn't need a man to help them raise their baby? How about the video of the little boy at Hooters being encouraged by a table full of women to touch one of the Hooters servers behind? Touch it, just grab her. The little boy was like 3 years old. This is what's being taught. Are you kidding me? If you don't need a man, you don't need no child. Go on about your own life. And don't be trying to adopt someone else's either. It was designed to work a certain kind of way, people. See, this whole thing about whether somebody got the memo or not, that's insignificant. Because there are people who choose the decisions, what they make. When you do your thing, do your thing. Don't bring somebody along with you. Don't look for reassurance. You be sure. You don't need company. But this is what it is. This is what it's come to. And don't worry about me drinking. I'm having sparkling mineral water. I don't fool with alcohol. I don't fool with Red Bulls. I don't fool with any of that stuff. There's already enough poisons out here in our society that they're trying to get rid of me. So I'm going to fight the battle as best as I can, but I'm not going to willingly take part. Cognitive dissonance. Some of you come in and you kind of want to hear what's on the agenda for tonight, or whatever. But sometimes it's good just to sit the hell down and listen. I do it all the time. I do it all the time. That's how I found this gentleman and his content. Sometimes I would listen to it as I'm on my way to work or coming home from work. It's better than talking about Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford every day for 12 hours a day. And you'd be surprised at the lack of consciousness for some of our women because our priorities are displaced. They are left to their own devices because we have failed as leaders. For them, someone to look to, so they figure, I'll do it myself. Nah, babe, you gotta sit back. Let me handle this. That doesn't mean that women are incapable, because there will always be a point within a relationship, marriage, if you give it the proper amount of time and experience, that a woman will have to show her value and worth. But a man should live his value and worth. Continuously. And it's not to prove anything to anyone. It is to be obedient to the law of nature, your purpose. And your purpose is not here to be carjacking and taking from someone who's acquired through their own personal means. Carrying a firearm on you don't make you a man. Carrying a purpose for making a better life for you and your family makes you a man. Give the woman something to be proud of, to be appreciative of. Salute to my brother Drew Titan out there. I saw you right in the chat there, bro. You inspired me off of your stream last night to come out here and have this particular stream. This is something I can do on a return basis because I have a lot to say. But I am not trying to be anything other than what I am. A leader by example. Yeah, there may be some who might have a greater economic grasp of things than myself. There may be some who can articulate their ideas and thoughts and put them into action better than myself. But the one thing that nobody can take away from me is my creative mind and thought process. Can't take that from me. You can emulate that. And what greater thing to emulate? Because that's positivity right there. Because I'm not doing something negative here. Huh? This is done with purpose. And if you can't take that message away from here, Maybe you're in the wrong place. The dope house is not within this vicinity. No. Putting on a suit and tie to come before you this evening makes me feel pretty damn good. Huh? You feel a little different as a man when you got that shirt and tie and jacket on, huh? Dress to impress. No stress. Am I coming across clear to you? This means something, people. It means a lot. I want you all to understand when we come on these airwaves to try and bring forth our creative process, it's dutiful, it's purposeful, but it's like, there's more to talking BS and slapping and cacking and giggling and high-fiving and all of that. Sometimes you got to pull back and say, hey, slow the roll. I'm on something real right now. I just want to know whether you guys feel me or not. I would love to think and hope that you do. My acknowledgement of Mr. Samuels. Never met the man. He's one, but he's one that I've come across personally, so there are others. But the whole thing about the positivity, how to go for it, average at best. What do you think when he would say to a woman, how would you rate yourself fresh out of the shower, no makeup, your hair natural, on a scale of 1 to 10? You can't use 7. Most women, it didn't matter how they look, would score higher than 7. Most. I mean, they could look at themselves in the mirror and see that they could use a nip here and a tuck there. They got beady beads on the back of the neck. If they take that false hair off their head. When he would talk about a woman being big enough to be a running back in the NFL, they get offended. I started thinking about that whole thing about a woman packing on extra weight. Sometimes we eat emotionally when we're unhappy, when we are angry, when we have anxiety. He would ask, have you been to therapy? Don't nobody need therapy like we need therapy, people. A number of us as a nation of people need therapy. Slavery did a number. The residual effect and the societal rulership governing because laws weren't made for you. They were made to hold against you. Yeah. And as the black man, the man with the seed, the hunt and the attack, it's totally on us, against us. Put in place to keep us at a disadvantage. It's time to stop walking into the spider's web. You know that the web exists. So now it's time to navigate the web. It's time to attack the spider. I'm responding to a message, people. If you're out there, smash my like button. Smash my like button. You know, we have to share our experience with one another so that we can take what has harmed us and turn it into that which will propel us up out of our dire circumstances. Brother Flawless, Dr. Mark. Absolutely, his message has been misconstrued. Some who are attacking, some who are even celebrating the brother's passing. This whole thing shows the illness. You never celebrate one's death. I have a story about a small discussion that I had with someone about Mr. Samuels. And I mentioned his name and they went like, oh, that guy, you know, and then blah, 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 blah. It's like, wow, just off the riff. And I'm like, wow. You don't even realize that you're part of the problem. You know, there's a old saying, only a hit dog cries out, right? You throw and the hit dog goes, arr! So how many hit dogs did Mr. Samuels catch with his slingshot? The idea is not to be out there in packs, people. Don't dogs travel in packs? Men, you don't need to travel in packs. Me and my boys, my mans. Women, you don't need to be in packs. Unless you're having something called class, where you're getting an education, mental stimulation, and growth, preparation. What the hell is wrong with people? There's a lot to be said, I'm telling you. We're carrying this. We carry the weight and burden of our forefathers and mothers when we don't produce a breakthrough to get beyond a level where there was a ceiling for them. We should be able to break through and they be able to get beyond, we be able to get beyond where they were, and our children get beyond where we are. That's progression. I'm answering another message here, people. I'm telling you, this all is something to think about, and it's not something that can be overturned overnight. This is something that has to be worked on from the core. But I'll tell you, the easiest way to get to resolution is for the acknowledgement of men to step their game up. Step it up, men. Mr. Samuels opened up a door, and I think that that's what he was here for. He was here to become a person who could pave the way. Groundbreaker. Groundbreaker. He's carried his load. Now it's time for someone else to pick up the baton and finish the race. Yeah. All of that is nothing without participation, with nothing without your doing your part. This is the type of thing that he wanted to do. Wake people up. Wake them up. Now, once you're awake, it's what you do with your day. I haven't used this setup in a while. I did a couple of small videos on this setup, But I thought that I'd break this out tonight for this one, this studio look. What do you think, family? G5, I see you out there. You know, that's funny. G5 giving it back to me because I be saying funny stuff when he be on live. He got me with that one. He got me with that one. Always trying to raise the quality, man. Always. There was a question earlier in the show where Kwee was asking me, is the call-in line open? I decided not to open the call-in line purposely. But there will be future arrangements where I make and open the lines up for more than just the Sunday morning call-in. What's good with you, Trick Noti? I see you out there, bro. I appreciate that, William. I appreciate that a lot, man. I think it was necessary for me, even therapeutic, because the sudden loss of this gentleman when I was so recently introduced to him, it feels incomplete, the process, right? You start to get to know of something and then it's gone. Now, the great thing, producing the content, the stuff that's left behind, that's legacy. But like I said, with his family, I don't know what they're going to do. At the end of the day, I don't know what they're going to say as far as it being available to us anymore. That's why you have to watch what you can now. The man had 1.5 million subs on YouTube. I don't know how many on the other social network, but it was class and quality stuff. Class and quality. You know what I loved about watching his production too? He knew how to be quiet. There were moments, like, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I kind of give moments of quiet too. I give moments of silence because I want things to process. Because you can talk and talk and talk and talk, and then it just becomes clutter. Listen, there's a reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Kane the bad guy, I appreciate you as well, bro. Thank you. Yes, Picasso, I agree with that. Dress approximately, wear clean underwear. Yes, sir. All the time. And keep a clean ass under that underwear too, huh? Because you never know when you go. Very important. Very important. Huh? It's very important to know that. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah. Yeah. Buzz, absolutely. It's nice to know that I have friends near and far that are observing me on this live stream this evening. I really appreciate everybody that has come out and checked me out tonight. You know, for those of you who smashed the like button, I really appreciate that. For those who are a little hesitant, you know, just thinking about it, fainting, you know, go on ahead and smash that like button. This is being done for you. You know what I'm saying? It's being done for you. You know, it's not often Stormy get cleaned up like this for his broadcast, right? So you have to understand, this is being done with love, consideration, huh? Yeah. Thanks, Quee. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And listen, I don't want this to be looked at as a worshiping, because that's not what this is. It's not. It's a dedication, because this man did some positive things. Even if he just got the masses to start a conversation that was not being had, that needed to be kicked off. That's the acknowledgement. But again, the work is not complete. We have to take the reins and start doing something. But the men have a job to do. The men. In the natural law of order of nature, if man steps up and does what he's supposed to do, everything else will fall into place naturally. Because the men are in disarray, the women are in disarray. And you can't get mad at them for being in disarray when you haven't done your job. So, with everything that has transpired over the last 48 hours, some information has come in that Mr. Samuels, was not necessarily alone. We'll probably get more information on that or not. But a person has a right to live their life, personally. Picasso, you like that? Those tunes? Yeah. Know that all of this is, man, I'm excited because it's like this is more motivation for me, rededication for me, because I know I have a part to play out here. That Monica the Sensei, I have to take it to another level, not just in boxing, but in life, in what I do here on the airwaves, outside of the airwaves. This is what it's all about. And I'll do my best. Yeah. I got a tablet here and my fingertips do not read on this tablet. interesting. I appreciate that, William. I appreciate that. Yeah, Buzz. We can expect that though, can't we? That's kind of how things go, isn't it? That's like a lot of times when we don't get what we think we should get, we begin to speculate, come up with different stories. But hey, man, like he used to say, there's his side, her side, and the truth. There you go. You know. Yeah, Kwee, I might have to get some of those. You know, I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. I wanted to come on and, you know, share my piece for Mr. Samuels and my thoughts about what he meant and what he was doing and how it's inspiring for me. But I want you guys to know that you can expect some more streams like this from me, okay? So it'll be something that I'll be working on. And I've already titled this show Sensibility. I think it's appropriate. Sensibility. Not just tonight's stream, but the show Sensibility. Stormybman. Yeah. So, you know, we're going to get on out of here, let you guys release on to your weekend. Some of you may be enjoying the fight tomorrow with Canelo. I don't really care, to be honest. I don't. So, just know. Know what I mean? I noticed that my broadcast signal is acting up. For those of you who will be around for a post-fight show tomorrow, I think KQKC is calling the fights. We'll see what happens on that. But yeah, I'm gonna get on out of here, you guys, and let you go on with your weekend. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be doing more of these in the future, sensibility shows. But you know, we gotta crawl. Gotta crawl before we walk. Huh? Oh yeah, I know they watching. Buzz. I know they watching. You know? So you gotta be careful. Careful and mindful. Salute to Sheena out there in that Cash App. She says, I appreciate you, Stormy B, man. I appreciate you as well for your support, Sheena. I really do. Yeah. Something I'm trying to watch. I haven't signed it off yet because I'm watching my graphics. It's really trying to lock up on me. It's really trying to lock up. I think this was a little bit better than talking about Canelo tonight for me, because I'm not really interested in Canelo people. Really not. But I'm going to get on up out of here. You guys enjoy your weekend. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Hey, Nan.